Okay, we want to bring in the vise because if we make this one visible, we're machining on the opposite side of the part. So we want to hide the vise, and we're going to go back to design mode. We're going to hide the first vise we brought in, and then we're going to bring in a second copy of it. Now it's coming in at some oddball orientation. So we're going to flip it down 90. And if we grab in the center, we have an opportunity to move it around. I'm going to make the stock visible so that we know what we're looking at, and it can help us with assembly. And we're going to select OK. Now we're going to go through the same motions we did, but on the opposite side of the part. So we're going to go and we're going to make a joint. And that's going to be between top left corner, top left corner of our parallel, and the opposite side of our part here. But we're not doing it on our stock, so we need to make the stock invisible. We're doing it on the finished part. And it would be that first corner. If you're not sure what axis, pick on the arrow. If you want to go in the direction of the arrow, it's positive. And if it isn't, it's negative. Okay, so there's our vise. And then remember we have now our stock now on our finished part is 1 inch, 900 thousandths. So we're going to put in 1.90. And that should close up the vise visually to where it's clamped on the opposite side. Okay, now if I make the stock visible, you can see how the stock's overlapping with the vise, and that's how it would be clamped. It's just all the material below the top of this part is machined away, and we're milling off the hat. All right. Now we're going to go back into the machining portion. Go to manufacture. I'm going to say no and import CAD data. Okay, now that we have our model merged, we're going to go in and create a new setup. You make sure you have the folder setups highlighted. We're going to say new setup. And we're going to set our orientation as Z-axis plane and X-axis. We're going to make the stock invisible. And we're going to pick on the top of our part and snap the Z-axis normal to our machining. Then we're going to go from not a stock box point, but a model box point. And we need to select our model, which is the finished part. And that allows us to pick the bottom left corner where we're clamping on a machine qualified surface. We're going to go to the stock tab. It's from the previous operation. We're going to go to post process. We're going to name this 1032. Program comment, it's going to be op2. Work offset, coordinate offset 1, which gives us G54. And we'll hit OK. Now let's change the name of our operation to op2. That way it's consistent. And we're going to do a face mill. We're going to select from our Sierra College VF1 library the 3-inch face mill. We're going to keep the defaults, feeds, and speeds. Multi-axis is going to stay alone. We got our geometry tab. It's going to auto select the material. Then we go to our heights tab. We're going to go from stock top there and stock top for the top height. And we're going to go to the model top, which is where we're going to machine down to. So we're machining off between the light blue and the dark blue, and the other two are rapid planes. We're going to go to the passes. Our pass direction, we want to go horizontal. That's a better finish, easier to see on the machine. Our pass extensions, let's move it up to 1.7 like we did before. That way if our stock's a little bit longer, we're okay. We don't want to plunge straight down with a face mill. Our step over is 2.0566. We'll just leave that at default. If we do multiple passes, we're going to go back and forth, which is fine with a face mill. We are going to do multiple depths. We can't take all this off at once. This cutter, I believe, can take a maximum of 60 thousandths in height off. We have close to 100 thousandths to remove. So we're going to do a maximum step down, leave it at 40. And we're going to step down on both sides. Probably won't matter. This cutter is bigger than the piece we're cutting. We'll go ahead and do a finishing step, and we'll leave that finishing step down as 10 thousandths. That'll be consistent with the other side, and we're not going to leave any stock. We do want to use even step downs though. Okay. And then we're going to go to linking tab, and we're going to get rid of our vertical lead-in radius and leave everything else the same. And so we should get these passes that go back and forth till we've whittled it down to height. That is it for this project. Again, you're going to need to go and make a post-process this. Again, you need to figure out post-process it. If it doesn't pick up the numbers, reselect it. Post it to a place you know where it's going to go. You should get the box at the bottom. It tells us you is successful. Then you're going to do a setup sheet. Pick a place for it. Again, I want to see the vise in the orientation with the part in the vise so that the setup operator knows how they're setting this up. So for this assignment, you should have 2 programs and 2 setup sheets uploaded in Canvas. Once I approve those, then you can run your parts in the lab.